running back, but he had to be the punt returner, I think the kickoff returner, and that was a tough day for him. But he grew out of that. And then we saw him every week during the season grow and grow and grow. And I made the comment the other day that he's our third string running back just because Vic was here and I wanted to give him a little crap. But you know, we run the ball by committee. You guys all know that. We run the ball by committee. And Devontae and Brew and Victor, now Jalen's in the mix. I mean, we feel really good about all those guys, and they're all a little bit different, which I think poses a problem for our opponents, is that they don't have the same style. And Victor's unique in that, you know, he's just an angular runner. He runs with high knees, and his elbows are out, and he's hard to bring down. And we love that about him. And then he plays in special teams. He catches the ball out of the backfield. So I like where we're at as a running back position.
Coach, going to ask you something. I've seen this Robert Burns. Do you have a powerful guy that can kind of fill that?
You know, we're using Louis Hansen a little bit in that role. You've probably seen it. You know, right now, kind of short yardage stuff. Louis catches the ball well. We've got to find out how he is as a runner. I think that Jalen can do some of those things. You know, Jalen's a 210-pounder. He's not like Burnsy at 230. But that's okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd love to have Robert Burns here for another year. You know, if we could get him back, get some kind of waiver from the NCAA, it'd be great. But I think, you know, he's got a shot to beat Chicago Bears, which is awesome. You know, we don't have that guy right now.
So Hansen's playing some out of the backfield?
A little bit, yeah. You'll see him in the backfield a little bit. Sometimes in short yardage situations, sometimes in first and second down situations. It's not a mainstay of our offense, but it is a wrinkle that we'll use.
Jim, how does the diversity in that rushing attack help take pressure off your quarterbacks, especially since you're still trying to figure out who QB1 is?
Yeah, well, we always want to be able to run the football. I think that, you know, when you can run the football effectively, it opens up so many things for you offensively. And I think the diversity helps us, but the depth helps even more. You know, it's just being able, we're not going to wear a guy down, you know. I think with guys like Devontae or Brew, they put pressure on the defense, but the defense better be right. Because those guys can find the gap, they can get through it. If they get through it, they're hard to catch. You know, you put Victor and Jalen in there to pound them a little bit, beat them down a little bit. So having an effective running game opens everything up. And it's no secret, we've talked about it, all of us have the whole offseason, is seeing improvement in our passing game. And I'm seeing that improvement. So having a healthy running game with improving our passing game, we should be a more effective offense.
Where's Devontae last year?
You know, it's interesting. I would say his pass protection. You know, yeah, I know, and that's kind of something we overlook a little bit. But backs are asked to protect, and you know, we always talk about catching the ball and running the ball. But I've seen him stand in there and take some linebackers on and give the quarterback just enough time to get the ball off. And you know, for 175 or 170 pounder, when you got 230 pounds coming out, you know, that's not always fun. But he stays in there, he anchors down, and gets just enough to let the quarterback get the ball.
We didn't see much improvement last year. What do you like about him?
I think he's got really good quickness. I don't know, you know, I think Devontae is probably one of the faster players on the team, but he can run. He's hard to tackle in space. He's shifty, and he'll protect as well. You know, I think that with both of those guys, given that they're not the biggest guys in stature, it's critical to have that depth, because you can't ask 175 pounders just to run up in there all day long. It's going to take a turn. So having Victor, having Jalen, along with Devontae and Brew.
Coach, I know your focus is on your.
Yes, I like the way that those guys are performing. I think that the key thing is that we're starting to develop depth. You know, you want to go through the season with the starting five that you started the season with, and have consistency throughout the year with the lineup. But if it doesn't happen, I see us having developed some depth there, and I like that. I think we're bigger, we're more physical. They work well together. They understand the scheme. They're very, very, very well coached by Coach Sanders, and he's an outstanding coach. And you know, that unit is typically one of the closest units on any football team I've ever been on, and it's no different than our guys.
So, Coach, I know the focus is on your team in the upcoming season, but we've gone through musical years that's going on right now with conference realignment, and it looks like the dissolving of the Pac-12 where you used to coach, and what that means even for this program going forward.
Yeah, I kind of stopped when the last week when all that day, that amazing day that happened, I kind of shut it down in terms of paying attention to it. But I'll answer your question because, my dad coached in the Pac-8. I played in the Pac-12 and coached for Pac-10 and coached in the Pac-12. So, I played at University of Washington. I coached at UCLA. My dad coached at Colorado. My son goes to Colorado. My dad coached at Stanford. I've always had an affinity for the Pac-12, and so to see it dissolve the way it has, to me, is sad. I don't like it. I've heard two people say probably what I feel better than I could ever say it, and that would be Eli Drinkowitz. I don't know if you guys saw his statement the other day. You should look at it. I think it's really good. Like I could never be that eloquent, and I thought what Deion said was right on in terms of everyone's chasing the bag, and I could never say it the way Deion said it either. So I would say the two guys that said it the best for me in terms of expressing how I feel would be Deion and Eli, and I agree with both of them. I'm sad to see what's happened to the Pac-12, just being that matters to me. Like the Big East matters to us out here because of our history there, and I'm learning it. The Pac-12 mattered to me, so I don't like what happened.
Where do you want you at the end of all these musical years? Do you need to be in a?
I want us to be in a Power 5 conference because I think it helps. Like I said on day one, I think it helps our athletic department. I think it helps every student athlete. It certainly helps his football program, and I think that we're building something that is earning the right to be in a Power 12. This football team will compete with not Power 12, Power 5. This team will compete with Power 5 football teams. We have the facilities, we have the people. We do more with less than any athletic department in the country, in my opinion, when you look at all the sports. And if we're able to increase our revenue stream where we can provide more for our football team, more resources, I think we just ascend. And quite frankly, I don't understand why people don't see it because they don't come here. I read where they don't have facilities. Yes, we do. This program was a proud, strong program years ago. We're getting back to that. And I hate to use the word deserve because to me the word deserve is an entitled word, but I think we are earning the right to be in a Power 5. And we'll compete against anybody. It's just, you see it by our schedule. We're not afraid to compete against anybody. Does that mean we're going to beat them right now? We'll see, because we're going to play the game. But in terms of competing, we'll compete against anybody. So.
Quarterback, you have a new guy that's part of the new guy in the team that's part of the competition. Can you just discuss what Joe Fenton brings to the table and why he's competing for the starting job?
Joe brings poise, he brings snaps. So for a quarterback, when you're an NFL scout and you're evaluating quarterbacks, you're looking at wins, you're looking at snaps, you're looking at throws, you want to count, you want to see experience. So Joe's got those things. He's got a lot of snaps, he's made a lot of throws, he's won games, he's been in pressure situations, he's responded, in games. He understands our system very well because he was with Nick. And even though we've tweaked it and changed it a little bit, Joe understands it. I think above all else, though, with Joe, it's just the poise he demonstrates on the field, the confidence that he's garnered from his teammates because of the way he conducts himself in workouts and meetings, at practice. He's unflappable, and that's what you want out of a quarterback. He exudes confidence. And so when you're a quarterback and your leader, when the guy taking the snaps has that confidence, it rubs off on everybody else.
Jim Mora the last 2 years, obviously, obviously. But how do you see him kind of come back and be able to participate? Obviously, especially that position, it feels like the skill is taking a step up. But how's he been able to himself?
I have so much respect for Cam. To go through what he's gone through the last 2 years, a lot of guys would have given it up. And he hasn't. He's only worked harder. He's doubled down on everything that he's done. We're being very, very, very conservative with how we use him this year, especially in camp, because we got to get him to the starting line. And that's for our football team, but maybe more importantly for camp. And so, if he's not feeling right, we're backing him off. Today I noticed him limping, we backed him off. We got to get him to the starting line. He deserves that, and this team deserves that. But in terms of just attitude, personality, work ethic, resilience, he's just a great example for all of our players. Just stick to it. You know, there's going to be disappointments. Just keep grinding. So you love that, and he's a leader.
What about your secondary? A lot of new faces, especially at corner. How's that competition gone? It seems there's a lot of competition.
It's been better competition than we've had since I've been here, which is 1 year. You know, I like the guys that we brought in. I like the way some of the young guys have developed. I like the way Damon Brinson's developed, Isaiah Davis has developed. You know, we got Cam Chadwick, we moved him from safety out to corner. He's done a nice job there for 2 days. Ramani Archer's done a nice job. We haven't got to see Torian much, but he's working himself back into it. So you got to have depth at corner. Certainly, you know, this day and age when people spread the field out, and they're competitive, you know, and they're smart. You get Mumu in there, so you get a couple guys that played, you know, at the highest level. It's going to help you. So I like where we sit at the second level. And having 2 experienced safeties is a really big deal. We got to get. No, I didn't know if you needed me to leave. Okay, I'll leave. No, you guys, they talk to the players. You guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.